Okay, here's just a few answers to some questions in combinations, permutations, probability, and a bit of trig. First question says, how many 5-card hands are possible 52-card deck? In this question, because the order doesn't matter, it has to be a combination. So 52, choose 5 was correct. When I was marking, if somebody gave me 52, pick 5, I would only give them 2 marks out of 5. That's what this is here for. So you don't have to worry about that. This for sure has to be a combination. Next question. Hopefully you sort of figured out how to derive these two and this one. And yeah, you probably should continue and figure out what the fraction would be. You could figure out what a decimal answer to this would be, but you can also simplify this. Simplifying might be a little bit nasty. I'm just going to try it and just see what I come up with. 5 is my first thing. 5 will go into here, whoops, and 5 will go into here. So let me figure that out. 715 divide 5. So I get 143 times 78 over, okay, 203, 58, 520. Is that right? 203, 585, 20. Yep. Divide 5. So 407, 1704. Okay, now 143. I don't know if anything will go into that. No even number will. I don't know. I'm not thinking. Anyway, 2 will go into 78. 2 will go into 78 39 times. So I have 143 times 39 over, and 2 will go into this. 203, 5, 8, 5, 2. I'm feeling pretty good with that. I wonder if 13 will go into that bottom number. Just going to guess. 203, 5, 8, 5, 2. I wonder if 13 will go in. Oh, it does. Nice. So 13 will go into this 3 times, and 13 will go into that. 1, 5, 6, 604. So 143 times 3 would be 9, 12, 1, 4 over 1/5, 6, 604. I don't know if you can simplify that. I wonder if my calculator will do it. 1, 5, 6, 604. No, won't go anymore. So this would be my final answer. Or you could take and you could divide those two numbers, and that would give you 0.002739, etc. And that would be your probability for that question. So when I see this on a test, I'm mainly looking for this. That'll probably give you to the 4 out of 5 marks. And any simplifying that you do after that will give you the extra marks. Okay, here's another one. This table is a handy thing to know. If you're needed to know what the sine, say, of 120 degrees is, that's the same thing as the sine of 60 degrees. And an exact value for sine of 60 is right there. So your answer is √3/2. You could do it on the calculator, but if I ask you for the exact value, I'm looking for this. That's exact. If I want the approximate, then that's what that is. So it's a good idea to memorize it. A couple ways to memorize it. Notice that the top is 1, 2, 3. So I could just go 1, 2, 3, and I have to take the square to the last ones. And then all of them have a denominator of 2. The second row is the exact same as the first row, just backwards. So √3/2, √2/2, and then finally 1/2. And then the last row, I don't know a good way of memorizing that one. √3/3, 1, and just plain √3. So memorizing that is very useful, especially when they want to know what the exact value of an answer is. And we'll do a question like that. Here's one where they say solve the right triangle. So if they say solve, that means you have to tell them every piece of information about that triangle that they don't already know. So in this case here, this is all they give me, in addition to saying that angle C is a 90 degree. That square means that C is a 90. So that's that. A is 20.1, so I could write that here. B is 22.5, so that's this number there. So the question gives me that information, and I have to figure out what this angle is, and this angle, and I also have to figure out what the hypotenuse is. So to figure those out, I went and did, what did I do here? Oh, I figured out what this angle would be, angle A. So I used the tan ratio, which is opposite. Here's angle A. Opposite over adjacent. Those are my numbers right there. And I did the arc tan of that, and that gave me that angle. Then I subtracted it from 90 to give me this angle. So 90 take away 41.8 is angle B. And then finally to find C, I could do Pythagoras. So I could go 20.1 squared plus 22.5 squared is equal to side C squared. And then take the square root of all of that. So figure this out, add them together, then take the square root. And you should come up to the same as I got there when I just used the sine ratio. Next question. With this one, it says find the exact, here's one where it says find the exact circular value. And they say, what's the sine of 5 pi over 3? Well, I have to figure out where 5 pi over 3 is on the circle. And so 5 pi over 3, I have to go, to figure that out, I can go 5 pi over 3 and times everything by 180 over pi. So the pi's cancel. 3 goes into 180, 60. So 60 times 5 is 300 degrees. So if I start at this positive x-axis, I need to go 300 degrees going up. So here'd be 90, 180, 270, and just a little bit more. So this line here is 270. So to get 300, this angle here is 30 degrees. But when I want to figure out what the sine of this is, you always go with the reference angle, which is this angle here. So that angle there is, if this whole thing is 90 and this part's 30, this part has to be 60. So the sine of 5 pi over 3 is really, you have to take the same thing as the sine of 60 degrees with an accompanying sign change if you need it. And sine of 60 from that chart that we did back there is root 3 over 2. And then, because my angle is below the axis here, all things below for y or for sine have a negative value. So this would be negative. Another way you could do that is they have that cast rule. What's my cast? C-A-S-T. So the only one that's positive in this quadrant is cosine. That means if my angle is in that quadrant, that sine has to be negative. And tangent also would be negative in that quadrant. Okay, next one. It says list the quadrants in which this function has the given sign. So when is tangent negative? And that's that cast rule. So C-A-S-T. So where's tangent negative? So tangent is positive in this quadrant. All are positive, so tan's positive in that quadrant. So tan must be negative in this quadrant and in that quadrant. Okay, so that's those two. The last question says find the amplitude, period, and phase shift. So in this question, I was marking, these would be the correct answers. Amplitude's 4, and the period is 2 pi over b, and this is b, so 2 pi over 2, so answer is just pi. And then the phase shift is whatever the value for c is. So I shouldn't say just C, it's C over B. So phase shift is pi over 2 divided by 2, which means multiplied by a half. So when you do that, you get pi over 4. And then also, you have to say what direction things go in. And that's why I said this here. So if they don't give me a direction, I wouldn't give them full marks. I'd only give you 4.5 out of 5. In this case, I did give the right direction, because if it's positive here, then it goes opposite to what you think. So the graph would be shifted to the left. And you have to give the direction, otherwise I'd start docking marks. All right, hopefully that helps you with those questions.